Today, Charlie takes on Lee to create a multifunctional family garden with a playful addition.
So here we have Cristina, Leonard and Matei, and they're from Birmingham.
Hello, I'm Leonard.
I'm Cristina. And I'm Matei.
Look at the garden.
It's quite sad.
We need your help.
Tiny little patio, not big enough for table and chairs, and a pathway to the back gate. So not a lot going on.
We've tried to improve it as much as possible, but we are not very good at this.
Well, it's good that they've tried. I like a trier. I like someone getting out there.
This is the back area of the garden
Near the house.
where the sun never reaches. I've lost a lot of plants.
This bit of the garden's always in the shades.
Here it's my little oasis. The plants I've tried to tend.
That's why the pots are right in the middle of the garden. I did think that was a bit odd.
What we would like to have is a multifunctional area in the sunny part of a garden where we can entertain, relax.
So they're wanting a space where they can entertain all of their family and friends and to get away from that shade and into the garden.
There is no much privacy over here. We are overlooked from all the various surrounds.
So they want a seating area in the sunshine. And by doing that, it means they're even more overlooked. So we need to screen it somehow without creating shade. Ooh, thinking caps on.
I absolutely love roses. Both of my grandmothers had such beautiful gardens back in Romania, and having a garden full of flowers and climbers and covered fences with green and color would be an absolute dream.
Cristina obviously loves her plants. So I think she wants lots of lovely, colourful plants.
This alley near the fence doesn't allow us to plant anything to screen the fence.
There's that dreaded path with that tiny void where nothing will grow. And I think that path just really doesn't work. So if I can reconfigure it into different zones, that could really help them.
But what else they want? I'm not sure. Let's have a look.
Main issue, would like to see our son coming out more often into the garden, because at the moment he's spending quite a lot of time in front of his computer.
Hi, Matei.
I'm taking off.
Okay, good luck.
I think there's a clever way that I can design this that means that Matei wants to come out into the garden, even if it's just to relax.
Because of this slope, we've tried to change the garden into 2 or 3 terraces or something like that. It would be nice if we can have here in this area a flat area where we can put a ping pong table to play with my son, and even between ourselves.
We are quite competitive.
Oh, OK. A ping pong table. I don't usually get asked for them, but no problem.
I wonder how big a ping pong table is.
So the budget for this one is £3,000. And whilst it's a nice blank canvas, there's not really much in there to work with. So it's going to be a brand new design.
They want a lovely family seating space where it will encourage Matei out into the garden.
So proportions and layout are going to be key with this one. Time to get the rulers out and get cracking.
Back in Birmingham, Leonard and Cristina have been sent the designer's pictures.
So excited.
Yeah, let's see it.
Leonard, Cristina, I have given you a garden design that makes it a great family space that you can entertain, relax in without being overlooked by all your neighbours.
This is my garden design to help transform your new build garden into an oasis.
Looks absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
You wanted a plan that would allow you to have that full-size ping pong table. You were also looking for a garden design that would help bring privacy, so I've split the garden into 3 distinct zones.
Different rooms. I like this idea.
Both designers have clearly been paying attention to the brief, but it's the details that win a pitch. So what are their plans for the area near the house?
We've got your patio doors here, a walkway that leads up to this lovely patio space where you can entertain, relax and party. We've got pergolas that surround it, just straightforward and simple, that will screen your neighbours' views in with lots of different climbers, rambling roses and clematis.
Climbing roses as you wanted.
Roses, yeah.
So the first zone will have this extended patio. And what I've done is use this really rich, lush, herbaceous perennial planting scheme with 2 specimen trees. And that's going to help bring some privacy nearer to the house. I've also used these large plank pavers as stepping stones through this lawn to the second zone.
Lots of plants.
Lots of plants and colour.
I love this. And the transition between the patios looks lovely.
Both designs feature new patios, with Charlie including 2 pergolas and Lee adding lush planting beds. But what have they come up with to lure Matei into the garden?
So this big open space here, I know you were really keen to have a ping pong table, so it's big enough to fit the ping pong table in.
I can see myself with Matei playing ping pong over there.
This is a raised bed here to create a back to this seat that runs round. So even without the furniture out, you've got this seating area. So if it's a spring day, you can sit outside, surrounded with planting. And then in this area here on the gravel, I've got this bespoke rocket stove. So you can either cook on the top with a saucepan or barbecue.
It's like a
Like
bread
a barbecue.
oven.
Yeah,
back home.
yeah, like your grandma's.
It'll be a great space as a family to relax, entertain and get Matei outside into the garden.
Now, the second zone is where it gets really exciting. And this area here is big enough for your competition-sized ping pong table. But what I've also done is include this removable water bowl stroke fire pit. So on a hot summer's day, you can sit there and look at all the reflections. In the evening, it turns into a fire pit.
Matei would love this space.
It's a multifunctional area, exactly what you wanted, yeah.
The designers are turning the middle of the garden into a ping pong entertaining zone. But Lee's upping the ante with a water feature come fire pit. So, what are their plans for the end of the garden?
Still got your shed here as storage, but what I want to do is give you 2 fruit trees here, which will give you height to the garden with the beautiful blossom, whether it's 2 different types of apples or an apple and a plum or a pear and an apple.
Little orchard with trees over there. Imagine flowers in spring, fruits in autumn.
As you walk round, come down to this big new patio area that will match in with the old paving.
Now, the last part of the garden is this wild orchard, and I'm going to put 2 fruit trees there so that you can grow your own fruit, such as apples, pears and plums.
I've always loved fruit trees.
I've kept your small shed, so you've still got storage, but then I've used turf at the back just to soften the area.
Charlie and Lee are both keeping the end of the garden simple but fruitful. Now it all hinges on their vision for the general planting.
We've got lots of lovely plants, lavender and tea tree to give you lots of scent in the garden in these raised beds, lots of evergreens. So when you're sat in this space here, whether you're playing ping pong or whether you're just relaxing, the neighbours won't be able to see you.
The planting throughout the garden is going to be using these beautiful roses, scented shrubs and climbers. So, Christina, I'm going to give you lots of beautiful flowers that are going to help soften the area.
The roses seems to be exactly like in my grandma's gardens.
I know in the past you've struggled to get that privacy, so by growing climbers up these slatted screens here, you can have plants at a much higher level than just in the ground.
It's 3-dimensional, it's another dimension to our garden.
Yeah.
It's not flat anymore.
I'm hoping I've given you a garden design that is a great space for you as a family to relax, be entertained, playing ping pong, barbecuing, but most of all, lots of plants and not being overlooked by the neighbours.
I hope you like my design.
lovely.
Oh dear. Two lovely designs. What we're going to do.
With that, the pitches are over. Both designers have nailed the brief. So, do Leonard and Cristina choose Charlie's plan with its focused central entertaining area? Or Lee's three-zoned garden with screening and rich planting?
We do have orchard trees for both of them.
We have Charlie's with the journey through the garden and lovely pergola.
At least two areas, multifunctional one for the ping pong table and the one close to the house, which are really brilliant.
Will be a really tricky one, this one.
It's a hard one.
It's crunch time. Only one can win.
It was a really difficult decision, but after lots of talking, we've decided to go with
Lee's
Lee's
design.
There are lots of things we loved. The different areas in the garden, the roses on the screening.
And one of the most important things is it's going to help convince Matei to come out of his bedroom and come into the garden.
Lee's vibrant vision has done it.
Well, hello. I do believe congratulations are in order, sir.
Thank you, Charlie. To be honest, I thought our designs were really similar.
They were, but you went for 3 zones. I only had the 2.
Yeah, I went for the quantity of 3.
Yeah, I have to say your design, though, is going to get Matei out of his bedroom and out into the garden, so
Yeah,
that's cool.
fingers crossed, but we've got that huge ping pong table to contend with as well.
Oh, OK. Talking of which, I think you ought to serve me up a cup of the old Rosy Lee.
I'll give you a backhand brew.
Oh!
Beautiful day.
Glorious morning.
It's build day in Birmingham, and the landscapers, led by project manager Ben, are raring to go.
You got that, Andy?
Yep.
Ooh, loads to do here. Andy, small little patio, as
Yeah.
all new builds are. We're going to use the existing paving and we're going to extend it out so they've got somewhere where they can sit straight out of the back doors. And then, Matt, we're going to get you on some screens just here. So just nice and simple screens going in, just so it creates a different zone in the garden, and a nice little simple bench here. I know it's a small garden, but there's a lot of preparation that we've got to do. So we all got to get to it. Should we crack on?
Let's go.
Let's get it done.
There's no time to waste, and to stretch the £3,000 budget, the team are repurposing slabs from along the fence to create a bigger patio by the house. And preparation is key with the 3 different zones, so careful marking out is vitally important.
That's the patio.
The ground needs to be thoroughly prepped before the hard landscaping can begin. Although this is proving a challenge.
Looks like crushed tarmac.
Yep.
But it's not just what's under the path. The garden has a steep gradient, which on closer inspection could be problematic.
James has just put a peg in there just to highlight what issues
The slope,
we
yeah.
now have with this slope.
No.
So we've got to adjust a lot of things to make this work.
Lee's design features a stepping stone path that leads up the garden, but the angle of the ground could make this unviable.
Do we then put a set of steps in instead of stepping stones?
I like that idea. I like it a lot.
Steps are so much safer
Yep.
than a fairly steep slope
It's really steep.
with slabs on, because in the winter, wet slabs,
Yep.
icy slabs,
Yep.
it's not a good combination, is it?
Safety is paramount, so Lee's design will have to be modified.
I'll make the phone call to Lee, and then we'll speak to him about the stepping stones.
Cool, mate.
Yeah, thank
All right.
you. Great
No
idea
worries.
as well.
Leaving Andy to mark out the far end of the garden, Ben checks the proposed changes are okay with the boss.
Andy has come up with some fantastic suggestions, which now Lee has given us the go-ahead to complete. We have to dig out the areas here, so the patio will extend out another slab, and then we're going to step it up onto a platform that Matt is digging out here. We then will step up again and level out, and then we'll step up again. So there'll be 3 sections of steps here, almost platforms that lead you to the main area, the main patio area up there, ready for the table tennis table. But lots and lots of work got to go in there.
This is a time-consuming major operation that means, along with the raised beds on either side, retaining walls in the centre have to be built to create the steps. The timber for the entire garden costs £650, around a fifth of the budget.
So it has changed quite a bit. Andy has extended the patio around here, so it's a bigger area for the family now to enjoy close to the house. If you take a look at what Andy and the team have constructed here, it's safe, it looks amazing, and it's going to take you on a journey up into the second patio area just up there. But I think it looks fantastic. Great job, team.
With vital time lost, there's a ton of hard landscaping still to do. The other patio needs building, and 4 screens need constructing. Luckily, the cavalry have just arrived.
Now this, Charlie, is a garden in 3 parts for Cristina, Leonard and Matei to get them from inside outdoors.
Yeah, I have to say, even I can remember being a teenager way back then I want to be away from Mum and Dad in my room. I don't want to go in the garden.
Well, I've designed this into 3 zones that they've each got their own distinct space and they're not sat on top of each other in the garden.
Clever, clever. So, what am I up to then?
Well, I thought I'd give you 2 of the zones today.
Hold on, 2 zones?
I'm going to give you the woodland area nearer to the house. And then I was thinking of putting you right back in the small orchard where you can work some Charlie Dimmick magic.
OK, so you've just got the 1 zone, so
Yeah.
you just got that?
But it is the biggest zone. We've got a fire pit, a water bowl, bespoke screens and room for that table tennis.
Quite a lot to do then.
Yeah.
We better get moving.
Come on.
I'm going to go and find timber because I need it for all my projects.
OK, off you go. Right. Now, this is a really compact space, and the way that I've designed it is to cut it into 3 distinct zones, and that's really to give Cristina, Leonard and Matei their own space in the garden. So we're starting at the very back of the garden up here, which is going to be the mini orchard. This area is in shade for most of the day, so we're going to have 2 small but beautiful fruit trees. It's also going to be an area for storage, and I'm hoping that Charlie can maybe work some magic in this back corner and bring a bit of a hidden gem to this space. As you move further down the garden, we're going to end up in this central terrace here. And this is the biggest part of the garden. But what I noticed is that they've got loads of windows. So if they're sat here, they're going to feel a bit overlooked, which is why I've designed these 4 custom screens that are going to sort of delineate this area. But I didn't just want to give them big blocks. What I've done, as you'll see here, is create screens that screen off the top part, but still allow you to look through into the other parts of the garden. So when they're sat here, they're going to get privacy from these screens, but not feel totally overwhelmed or in loads of shade. This area is also going to be the space for that giant table tennis table. But I didn't just want it to be a terrace, so we've got these L-shaped beds that are going to be offset in each side to soften it up for them. And then as we move further down, we've addressed the height difference using these 3 steps, because there's actually quite a high drop in this garden of nearly 1 metre, and it needs to be safe. So this makes this area safe. Then we move into this woodland zone. So around here, I'm going to have really soft planting, stuff that doesn't mind a bit of shade, because in the latter part of the day, this is all shaded. So this is a real soft area, and I'm hoping that Charlie can work some magic, but I've got to crack on with those screens.
There's only 1 screen built so far on the left side of the garden, where the old path runs to the gate. And the ground beyond it needs levelling, where it meets the new central patio. But it's not that simple.
That doesn't sound good, does it?
No.
I think we've uncovered a few sins here, given this big sort of concrete plinth.
It's huge.
Yeah, and obviously it needs to come out because this isn't going to be level, is it?
You're joking me. That's got to come out. Oh, I'm glad you got this zone.
Well, we've got the breaker just for you. I've got it set to your height.
Oh, dear, how sad. Never mind.
Go on, back to your table.
Back to me corner.
Yeah, so it's going to need to be broken out, isn't it, realistically?
No problem. Yeah. I'll get on the breaker and I'll start making some noise.
The area has to be prepped correctly so it matches the level surface of the new patio. But the jackhammer means it's back-breaking work. of the house, the plants have arrived.
Perfect.
Lee spent more than £900 on an array of perennials, trees, shrubs and grasses.
My lovely verbenas.
My even lovelier calamintha.
These are super cute. Those look sedums.
It's nearly a third of the budget, but filling the garden with plants will make a dramatic statement. In the centre of the garden, once the ground has been prepared with plenty of sub-base, the entertaining patio can start to be laid. And there's been a breakthrough with that ton of concrete.
You're doing so well, Ben. You're almost there, that last little bit.
Just 20 minutes it took me.
Not. It took a lot longer
It's
than
nearly
20
there.
minutes.
Last little bit. Last little bit.
Near the house, the steep woodland zone needs planting up. But Lee's exacting standards mean each specimen needs careful positioning. Whilst at the rear of the space, Charlie's had an idea to encourage Matei away from his computer.
That's 120, but we come back to 110. So now this is a funny little bit of the garden because Leonard and Cristina have got this storage area. So there's this funny bit here where the gate comes in. Now, the patio's going to be big enough for a table tennis table, but they haven't got one yet. So they're going to wait until the patio's down. But what I thought for Matei is I'd make him a practice area up here, which is going to be a fold-up half a table tennis table. So it's going to have hinges here, like that. So it'll come down, but it'll fold up against there. So it'll fold away. But I'm going to do it so it could also be a potting up table for Cristina and Leonard, you know, a useful table. That's amazing, Ben. Oh, one other cup. So I've got the backboard and the table board. Now I'm using marine ply. It's a bit more expensive than normal plyboard, but it lasts longer outside. Now, one thing that I have been told to do is sand the edges well. Not only does it get rid of the splinters, but it also means that it helps seal up the edge and then give it 2 good coats of paint, which will help it stop laminating.
The marine ply cost around £50. It's strong and durable, but not waterproof. So good preparation with paint or varnish is key to long life.
This is looking a bit more advanced than I thought, Charlie. Look at this.
Oh, careful. Those are me lines. Got to paint those white. Thin white in the middle. There and there and there.
But it looks like you've got your work cut out, so do you mind if I jump into your woodland zone? Because I'm at a bit of a loose end.
Oh, darn. What a shame.
I'll leave you out here feeling
Leave
green.
it, yep. Plain green. Green, not only green fingers.
Got green hair now,
Green hair. Actually, I could just do a little additional sort of detail here, do you think?
Feeling very organic now.
Yeah, green spray?
Actually, I'll go and get those
Actually,
plants.
no.
I might need your help, though, with a few shrubs.
OK.
So whilst Charlie's busy with her all-singing, all-dancing, fold-up ping-pong table, I've managed to take over some of the woodland zone. And you may be wondering, why am I planting the same plant a number of times around the garden? And the reason for that is it's a bit of a design trick. We use repetition with plants to help bring consistency and continuity to flower beds and gardens. So if your garden at home is looking a bit hit and miss, a bit pick and mix, then try repeating the same plants. Things of 3s, 5s and 7s, and then all of a sudden the garden starts to get this really consistent look, and instantly you'll have a design wow.
Lee's using a mix of grasses and shrubs in this repetitive manner to maximise the impact of the planting. But there's one special specimen for the woodland area that is to take centre stage.
So this is a real wow plant in the garden. It's a hydrangea paniculata, and this one's called Vanilla Fraise. Now, they start off pink and then they turn white, so we're a bit late in the season. But they're a great plant to give you that late season interest because they have these huge pyramid flowers on them. But not only that, the paniculata also usually has interesting stems, and this paniculata has red stems, and it's going to really set off against the fence and some of the other timber. Now, you can buy hydrangeas as relatively cheap small plants, but we want big impact, so I've chosen a slightly more mature specimen that will cost a bit more, but it gives real oomph to this border.
This hydrangea cost around £50 because of its size.
This is going to be absolutely gorgeous, and the fact that it's got these white flowers is going to brighten up this woodland area and give Cristina and Leonard a quiet place where they can sit and relax and feel like they're in the middle of a woodland.
Work on the 4 screens is progressing, with each post securely bedded into the ground. But they're not only for privacy, they have to be visually interesting too.
Right, next stage. Your slats.
Yeah, they look really nice, but what I'm thinking with the slats is I want like a 45-degree angle. They're going to form some really nice shadows and give a bit of privacy with these windows.
Yep.
What I'd like to do is to have these pointing upwards towards the roof,
Yep.
and the other side pointing back upwards this way. So,
Awesome.
yeah, inside detail, outside
Awesome.
clean.
So, coming across,
Yeah.
45 degrees, and then we'll space them out.
Yeah, that'll look nice.
I'll get that done for you.
Fabulous.
You're welcome.
Outside the garden, the ping pong table is ready for some embellishment.
So painting the lines on, masking tape on, but also I mustn't forget to do the edges. Got to do the edges, because that's sealing it up as well.
New outdoor ping pong tables cost upwards of £350. This mini marine ply version is far cheaper at around £75. And it's a perfect temporary solution until the family splash out on the real thing.
That's all right, that's good. I've just got to do those ones now.
How are you getting on, Ben?
Yes.
I like this. You've made a bit of a rudimentary jig.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
are you happy with the gappage?
Gappage looks fine.
Yep. Right, I'm committing, and then we're going to just cut them off. Straight as
Yeah, because you can still see through them, but it's going to provide a bit of shading,
Yep.
a bit of privacy. Yeah,
Are you
I like
climbing
it.
anything up? Or is that the back ones?
Yeah, we're going to be using climbing roses, so they'll
Oh,
be planted in
wonderful.
these beds, and they'll ramble up, and over time they'll fill up the space. Yeah.
Be awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
Right.
With the 2 halves of the ping pong table painted, it now needs fixing to the fence with its hinged lower section so the table can be folded up. But because the wall juts out from the fence, it's not as simple as it sounds.
So, I don't know who came up with this idea, but it was very, very silly. It'll be great when it's done. But at the moment, it's a bit... But I love my job. I'm going to attach those hinges on.
It really has been a day of change. We've got Charlie working away on her amazing ping pong table. I've commandeered her woodland section. And also with that height change that we've had to accommodate, it's meant that the stepping stones I'd originally planned have turned into these steps. But the knock-on effect is that the lawn that I was going to keep now is really too skinny to be of any use, because Leonard is not going to be able to get his mower in and really cut this turf, so it's going to be a bad design choice. So I'm going to tweak the design. So what I'm going to do is put down some of this weed membrane and then use bark to cover this area. It's going to blend in better with the woodland area and it will just soften this. It also means that Leonard doesn't have to fight with a lawnmower or a strimmer. I'm going to put this down to stop the weeds, and I might even be able to plant some other plants into the bark to kind of extend the borders and give them a bit more planting for this area of the garden. Right, Right, so that's done. And I know it's a change, but I think keeping the lawn would have been a bit of a disaster. It would have become a burden for Leonard and Cristina to look after. I think this is much more fitting, it makes more sense, and hopefully they'll love it.
Bark also locks in moisture, so it'll help any new plants establish in the beds.
Right, so that's the woodland area finished, and I'm kind of glad the control freak in me took it off Charlie, because looking at her, she's still busy with that table tennis set. But I need to move on to the second part of the garden now, and then we can bring it all together.
After some jiggery-pokery, Charlie's managed to get the table securely attached to the fence, and its folding legs will make it stable.
Right, so that keeps it safe. Then we pull that down like that. Da-da-ba-da. I love it now.
I'll help you bring it in.
Quick, get me ping pongs. Nah. You'll be better than me.
Top spin.
That's all right, isn't it? Right. This area up here is so different in contrast of the planting to the lower area, which is very woodlandy. This is much more roses and grasses and verbenas, so open and sunshiny. And another plant that loves the sunshine is this one, Gaura or Gora. Once it gets established, it does really well. And what's really lovely about it is you get these spikes of flowers that are very loose and wave around. And it comes in whites, pale pinks and a dark pink, but mixes well really with grasses and prairie planting. Flowers sort of later in the summertime. Doesn't like to be in wet soil, so this will be ideal again in these raised beds. And mixes really well with the grasses. And that calamentha, oh, yum, 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 yum. I love that as well. I like them all, really. He's got all my favourite plants, that Lee chap.
In the centre of the garden, the patio is nearly complete. Lee's chosen contemporary sandstone pavers that set the budget back nearly £600. But with such a sleek finish, they'll create a dramatic focal point. With the clock counting down, there's a rush to get the planting finished.
I've planted about 600 plants today.
Lee's focus is on the climbing roses for the screens, a perennial Cristina loves. But he's chosen other vibrant flora too.
Look at the colour of those flowers, Ceratostigma. I mean, those are azure blue flowers. Gorgeous, gorgeous colour. Flowers sort of mid to late summer into the early autumn. It goes, the leaves go a lovely sort of burnt orange in the autumn as well. It's semi-deciduous, so it sometimes keeps leaves on, sometimes doesn't. It's not 1000% hardy, so if you're worried about it, plant it close to a fence where it's protected or pile some bark up, but mainly make sure that it's in a free draining area so that the roots aren't wet over winter, which here it will be because it's in this raised beds, but it'll look gorgeous and it will spill over. Doesn't get too huge, but the contrast of the colours with the grasses, oh, just lovely. One of my favourites.
It's been a frantic day in the blistering sunshine, with some unforeseen issues tackled by the team. But as the final details go in, including a £150 water bowl and 2 fruit trees, this multi-purpose family garden is finished.
We've done it.
Yes, oh my goodness. There were a few hiccups on the way though. I mean, you can see now it's been levelled.
Yeah.
How much of a drop there is.
Yeah, the slope was huge.
Yeah.
And I know we divvied up the zones and then I've changed it all around, but I think we've just played to our strengths and I think the result's quite spectacular.
I think my favourite bit is the woodland area down there.
I think that's mine as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I could have stuck to the turf, but I thought I'm just leaving Leonard with a problem and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've still got the feel of the garden. Do you quite like this central area as well? Because it's really open. You know?
Yeah.
It's massive.
Barbecue over there, ping pong table, you know. And then there's my practice area over there.
But we've still got a space for Cristina to get her green fingers going as well.
Yeah, and I think she's going to love the apple tree and damson. I mean, what with the blossom and the fruit, what more do you want?
Exactly, beautiful. A garden for everyone,
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Right, you're going to show them then?
Yeah.
When the team arrived, this tricky sloped garden consisted of nothing but a small patio, a tatty lawn, and some pots. It wasn't loved or used by Leonard, Cristina, and Matei. But after working with a £3,000 budget, it's been transformed. From the house, there's an extended patio that leads to steps, surrounded by raised beds full of woodland plants, creating a lush, calming feel. In the centre of the garden, there's a huge entertaining zone that has 4 screens for privacy, and the space can also accommodate a full-size ping-pong table. The end of the garden now features a mini orchard with an apple and damson tree, and there's a practice ping-pong area for Matei. But what will the family make of it all?
So, whenever you're ready, open your eyes.
Wow. Oh, it's absolutely amazing.
I mean, this is the first area, so you'll step out from the house, you'll see you've extended your patio.
I can see myself in the morning drinking my coffee over here because I can't start the day without drinking my coffee. So it's brilliant.
Now, you'll notice that the design changed a bit because we had to address the slope. So we wanted to put in some really safe steps rather than the stepping stones. But it has meant the lawn's gone, but we've just extended this woodland bed. So it's low maintenance, you don't have to mow anything, and it'll really just kind of look after itself.
I can see the hydrangeas.
Yes.
Yeah, they are so beautiful.
Yeah.
I always loved them, but I never knew where to plant them.
Well, you've got about 6 now.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I did say that end of the garden was my favourite bit, with all those gorgeous woodland plants.
So this is your brand new table tennis-sized patio terrace.
Yeah.
We've got these beautiful private screens here just to give you a bit of privacy against the windows.
Yes. And the roses and the ground, we're going to climb and it will be a screen with roses over here.
Yeah, the screens work really well, just make it really private.
We've got a beautiful purpley pink white soft palette of herbaceous perennials and grasses. These will fill out. They're relatively low fuss. You just cut them back once a year.
I can't take my eyes from the flowers. They're beautiful.
Can you see yourself using this space now?
Yes, definitely. And I can see ourselves sitting over here around the water feature.
Yes.
I want to put a fire in that. I want to see a flame roaring out of there.
You can do both. It's a water
Yeah.
bowl and a fire pit, so you can empty it out, put your logs in, set fire to it.
I can see myself with him playing ping pong over here because
I play
yeah,
there we go,
we
got
play
championship.
together, yeah, and we are pretty competitive. And last time I've played with him, ping pong was about, yes, he won. And it's true.
And this terrace is the perfect size for the full championship-sized table tennis.
Yeah.
It's bigger than what we had last time.
Yeah.
The last time we played with my dad, it was on our dinner table.
Should we take a look at your orchard? Sure. Come on.
Sure.
So we're now in the final zone, which is your mini orchard, and we've got an apple and also a damson for you too. Just cut them back once a year.
I can't take my eyes from the flowers. They're beautiful.
Can you see yourself using this space now?
Definitely, and I can see ourselves sitting over here around the water feature.
I want to put a fire in that. I want to see a flame roaring out of there.
It's a water bowl and a fire pit, so you can empty it out, put your logs in, set fire to it.
I can see myself with him playing ping pong over here because
of plum, it's very usual in our home country. So my father will be absolutely chuffed to find out that some of the trees in his orchard are now in my orchard.
Oh, fantastic. I feel like I've been reading your mind slightly, which is a bit scary.
Exactly, exactly.
So I've got some damsons at home, and you probably know that the jam that you can make from them is just delicious.
It's delicious. And also the liquor from them.
Yes, yes. Damson gin, I think you'll find, yeah.
Lee makes damson jam. He gave me a jar of it last year. It was very nice.
Now, Charlie has been very busy building something for you, Matei.
Yes.
So, if you have a look over here,
All right.
she's built you this custom table tennis practice area.
Thank you, Charlie.
Give it a go.
Don't judge. It's been a long time.
Perfect.
Hey.
It's all coming back to you now.
He's quite good, isn't he? Looks better than I was.
It's brilliant.
Everything is multifunctional in this garden now.
Yeah.
It was just an empty space, and now it's absolutely brilliant. Every corner, it's usable.
Yeah.
It's so good to hear, because I wanted to design something that you could just use consistently throughout the year.
Absolutely.
It's like a dream that is true now.
Oh, thank you.
Fabulous garden. Very practical. Zones, an area for everyone, but also a lovely family space.
So, Matei, last question. Will this get you out the house?
No, I'll just stay up there. You know, on my computer, this garden. I love this garden, and I'll be on that all the time now, and I'll be beating my dad.
Success.
Yeah. Happy with that.